Welcome to our Mythbusters project for engineering statistics. This is Sean with Trey and Josh, and we are going to get started. So our central question was, what golf gear is worth investing into at a non-pro level of skill? Golf gear ranges from only $20, $30 up to $2,000, depending on what you're getting and what brand and what materials are being made, such as high-end brands such as Tilted and Amazon brands such as Noodle. So our design, we wanted 3 treatments which would involve 6 levels. We would have 3 golfers of varying skill level, an intermediate golfer who has been golfing for a long time and was on the varsity golf team, a beginner who just started golfing a year ago, and someone who has never golfed before. So for our experiment, each golfer will use an iron, wood, and hybrid golf club. Each club will have a steel and composite shaft in order to differentiate between lower end and higher end materials that you can get at any golf store. Each golfer will hit 3 balls, but they will not know the brand of the ball in order to prevent any bias or hold up when hitting the ball. And any poorly hit balls, mishits, topped, flat, or just a pure miss from our inexperienced golfers will be redone in order to get accurate data.
Let's zoom on over to the course.
Go. Go. Okay, go. Or can we say anything? It's a precept. Alright, ready.
So this is our raw data. We had Sean, Will, and Josh hit. I was unable to attend because I got sick over the weekend, but here's our raw data. As you can see, we had Nike balls, which average around $35 for a dozen. Titleist balls, which can range anywhere from $50 to $80, but typically it's about $55 for a box of 12. And then we have Nitro, which is an Amazon brand, which you can get for about $16 for a box of 12 of them. And then as you see on the top, each hitter got a hit with a 9-iron, a wood, and a hybrid. And then within each of those, we had a steel shaft and a composite shaft. And this afterwards, we did a 2-sample t-test, and we got a p-value of 0.0314 for the expensive balls, which we used the Titleist balls for that, and then the cheap balls, which we used the Nitros. And then we also got a p-value of actually 0.0714 for the difference between composite shaft versus steel shaft. So to translate those p-values, we can say that there's a 3% difference in the distance between the expensive balls versus the cheap balls, but there is actually a 7% difference in distance between the composite shaft and the steel shaft. And actually, steel shafts and composite shafts are not that different in price. But as we were saying earlier about the different golf balls, the expensive ones are almost 3 times the price. Around 2.8 is what we averaged it out to be. So we actually found that it is better for players who haven't golfed or are amateur players to invest into different clubs rather than buying the expensive balls. It's a lot more cost efficient, and you get a better percentage difference.
And so for our conclusions for this experiment, we found that for the average mediocre golfer, the brand of the golf ball doesn't really make a noticeable difference. And it also has the added risk of you can lose your golf ball. And so it's not really worth spending those extra $60 for the higher end golf balls for a few yards. And we've also noticed that with further research that gold ball material only really matters for golfers who are near semi-pro level or higher. And so we would say that this experiment was a success, and it correlated with what our original hypothesis was. And some possible extensions for the experiment would be that we could try with more clubs, more ball variations, just more trials for a bigger sample size, higher sample of users, and then different weathers, including wind or rain, whatnot, since that was also uncontrolled.
Thank you for listening.